We've really been a multi-screen provider for a number of years. Over the last few years, we've been looking at expanding that into the in-home scenario, where we actually use our platform to deliver media over IP networks to any IP-enabled device in the home, out of the home. So we're a full end-to-end multi-screen technology provider, and our target markets are DSL broadband providers and wireless operators.
When trying to develop a multi-screen service, you're going to deal with a lot of different challenges. We're dealing with multiple content providers giving us multiple different kinds of formats, all sorts of mezzanine types. You're going to deal with more network utilization, more disk storage, and you're going to be dealing with input image quality that's pristine, and you want to keep it that way.
What we've done is a few things. One is, clearly on the encoding front, we've needed encoders that give us higher throughput capacity, if you will, from an encoding profile perspective, right? So higher density, single HD input, and being able to generate multiple profiles on the back end of that. Having origin servers that deliver stateless media so that we can scale with consumer demand. Together with that, we've also had to deploy services or technologies, if you will, that have allowed us to create different media formats, right? So you've got Apple that does HLS, and now, of course, the other platforms are doing that as well. But we also support Dash, we support smooth streaming, and we support other formats for different devices that we deliver media to. Now, there are different ways of doing that. What some companies have ended up doing is they end up storing media in all of these different formats, and they'll take the hit on the storage costs, right? We provide our customers with both options. You can do that if you choose to do that, and if that's where you want to put your CapEx. But we've also provided technology that allows us to package media on the fly. So we'll take standard TS output, for example, from the live encoders, and then we'll repackage it for HLS, Dash, smooth streaming, and other formats on the fly, so that you don't necessarily have to spend CapEx on the storage front.
There are many reasons that we looked at the Elemental server. First and foremost, it has a wonderful REST API. We're big believers in REST here at MobiTV. The server itself is self-clustering, so there isn't this huge setup process when we're trying to bring in a bank of encoders. The image quality and video quality that we get from the output of the Elemental server is fantastic. Big on Linux here. Almost all of our services run on Linux. And one of the nice things about Elemental server is that it runs on Linux as well, and it helps keep our environment completely unified. The density, the amount of clips we can run through just one machine is absolutely amazing. And the file formats that it supports is everything that we would ever want. At MobiTV, we're part of the HEVC Standards Setting Committee, so we're very interested in HEVC, and we anticipate that it's going to be adopted more and more over the upcoming years. The nice thing about the Elemental server is that we're not going to actually have to rip out our current bank of encoders and do a complete replace, where we actually can just do a quick software upgrade and we'll be HEVC compliant and ready to go.
We've delivered the NFL year over year for Verizon at extremely high throughput numbers. We were, I think, the only provider that really had 99.99% uptime for the last World Cup soccer here, where we delivered, I think, if I remember the numbers right, in excess of about 80% of the traffic on mobile in the US. So, we think we do that really well, better than most other companies out there in live, and that's been a big differentiator for us on mobile. We also do on-demand content. We allow people to download and store content locally on a device, play it offline. I think that's another differentiator. But very key, I think, when you look beyond mobile and you look at what we're doing in the multi-screen space, certain core technologies we've developed and deployed, like a network DVR, is a big differentiator for us. It's allowed us to, bring experiences to the consumer that don't exist today in traditional cable or legacy IPTV type systems, where we can now actually record everything in the network, so the users don't have constraints. For example, allowing somebody to only record 4 shows at the same time. Our technology doesn't enforce those type of constraints. You don't have to go down that path. It really opens it up from a user experience standpoint. I think it opens it up from an operator perspective, in that it allows you to further monetize your service beyond your traditional avenues.
Our working relationship with Elemental has been fantastic. We're updated on their roadmaps on a quarterly basis, and any sort of issue we've had has been answered very promptly. We've announced some really cool things on the ad insertion side, and certainly Elemental is going to be able to support and enable all of those things we've talked about in the press. As far as closed captioning goes, the closed captioning support in the Elemental server is fantastic. It supports a variety of formats, and we've never had an issue where the Elemental server doesn't support something we receive.